What's up? I'm Trevor Jacob, wheels behind the camera. We are just arriving Tony Hawk's warehouse, which in Rocket Power, my old favorite TV show growing up, they called it the Hawk's Nest, and they go and visit Tony Hawk in the Hawk's Nest. So that's where we're headed. We're almost there. We're gonna just see what he's up to, maybe play around on his ramp a bit. I'm still dealing with a broken back, so probably won't do anything too crazy. But yeah, see what he's doing and ask him some questions that I'm curious about skateboarding and his extensive history in skateboarding in general and all the things that he's accomplished. Been pretty crazy. So stoked to catch up with him, and we'll see what we get up to. Okay. Said not to use that door, but to use this door. Maybe this is the door. This is the door.
Howdy.
Are you Seth?
Yep.
Hey, I'm Trevor.
Oh, hey.
We've
Great to finally meet.
Yeah,
right on.
Nice to meet you too, man.
Hey.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you. Yeah.
Oh.
How's everything going?
Going good. And yourself?
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Last time we chatted, but
Sweet, man.
let me get you guys. You're gonna probably record in here in Tony's office.
Okay.
You want to do a setup in here? Is it
Cool.
video and
No.
audio, or how?
Honestly, we were
What
just-
is? Yeah.
I was just gonna like cruise around and kind of just like say what's
Okay.
up and talk to him, and then.
Tell me then. Let's see what.
But what I mean, you know. Yeah, we kind of had it.
How do you feel it?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good to see you.
Yeah, how's everything?
Going well. Yourself?
What's up, man? How are you?
Well, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too, thanks.
We just want to stop by and say what's up. Maybe
Cool, you're
do a little
welcome.
skating and ask you a couple questions and.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I didn't really expect to skate, but...
No, not you. Like I was just gonna cruise around the ramp.
Oh, you're gonna skate?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, like, just I got a broken back right now, but like at least
Yeah,
like,
I wondered about that.
take a couple cruisers and then
Okay.
talk to you about your legendary existence and
Okay,
kind of
cool.
be on our way.
All right, cool. Yeah, are you just sort of free-floating like this then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Let me just, my daughter's here, so let me make sure she's
Okay.
sorted out.
Sweet, man.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I was referring to on the way here that we're in the Hawk's Nest, like in Rocket Power.
Oh, yeah.
The Hawk's Nest
yeah,
arrived.
that's right. I had no, when I did that show, I thought that show was kind of like a cult following.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I did it, I had no idea.
You didn't
how
realize
big it was.
kids
Yeah.
like me all over the world watch it?
Yeah, and then when I posted it, I don't know, on my Instagram just last year.
Yeah.
And it just exploded with comments and like, I miss Rocket Power, it was so awesome.
Yeah.
And I was just like, really, I thought it was just like, I didn't think that
was
skating was that big back then. You know what I mean?
it was a bunch of secretive little kids like me watching it all around the world.
Yeah, that's
So,
awesome. Here, let
yeah.
me grab my board.
Right on. How long? Yeah, this place is insane.
Here, come in here, I'll show you my office.
All right.
I'm messing with it because I've been traveling for the last month, but
This is Will's skateboard. I brought my cruiser, and then I was like, damn, I should bring something else.
that looks like
So
a
I brought
filmer
two.
board.
Yeah, except I've been skating it around just like on the street and stuff. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
but it is a pretty good filmer board.
Yeah, filmers always have the big soft wheels.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much where I pretend to work, and just collection of oddball stuff that I've gotten over the years. Some of my favorite photos, and
That sober's pretty sweet.
yeah, my friend made that for my birthday. I feel a little self-conscious putting it together and riding on the mountain.
Yeah.
Check me out. I just have to cover the name with a stomp pad or something. But yeah, it was cool of him to do that.
Yeah.
And then same with that, like that surfboard.
Yeah. Well,
You know.
nobody will be seeing that logo but sharks.
True, but you do gotta walk down the sand with
That's
it.
true. That's true. Like holding it.
Yeah,
Hugging it.
yeah. I guess that's the awkward thing about having stuff with your name on it. But
Yeah.
I figured it out over the years.
What's the story with the Playboy board?
That we produced those for Playboy 50th anniversary, and then Hugh Hefner signed it for me. So
That's pretty legendary.
And then I went to Gene Simmons' house for an interview, and he has this whole room. Basically, it's a museum of all their licensed Kiss stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, just like the most random things, and like Kiss coffins and Kiss wine, and he had the skateboard, and he's like, "Oh, we make skateboards. I forgot." And then he signed it to me and gave it to me.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What are these other ones got some stories to them, I'm sure.
A friend of mine, Drew Christian Jacobs, he was in Gleaming the Cube. He's the lead singer of the Aquabats and created Yo Gabba Gabba. And I always liked the art he did on it, so I kept that one through the years. Same with that. Some dude in Mexico City just handed me this.
Wow.
Yeah.
It took some time.
I know. I felt like it's hard when people give you gifts and stuff when you're gone, especially because you're like, well, I only have my carry-on, but this one was like I had to hold on to it.
Yeah, look at the detail on that thing. It's like layers and layers of, what is that even, like frosting paint or something? Like for a cake?
Yeah, it's puffy paint.
Wow.
And this one a dude gave me literally as I'm walking out of a demo in downtown San Diego. He's an artist from Tijuana, and he hands me that, and I've got like my bag with my pads, my skateboard, and I'm just like, oh, he like hands me this weapon.
What is it made out of?
It's
it's spray paint cans.
It's spray paint cans, and they're just deadly.
Wow.
I mean, I appreciated it, but it was an awkward encounter.
Yeah. Damn.
And then let's see, this is the very first skateboard we made at Birdhouse. Like first one off the line.
Jeremy Klein,
yeah.
Wow.
He designed the graphics and then became the lead artist for Birdhouse.
That's it. I don't know if that's, I guess since we're talking about it right now, the Jeremy Klein, Heath Kirchart part, the end, like,
oh yeah, that's all Jeremy.
How did that, like, yeah, that's insane.
That's what happens when you give them a relatively big budget and let them do what they want.
Right.
At the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would all go down that way now, but
check that out. If you type it in, it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just check out Jeremy Klein, Heath Kirchart, the end.
Porn Stars and Fire.
How is the? Yeah, like that movie is, speaking of which, like probably the best and most effort skate film to ever come out ever.
Yeah, I think that the reason being is that we put a lot of effort into it. We put a big budget together, and we were shooting film, and no one was shooting film back then. So there was added pressure from the skaters that were like, you can't just waste a roll of film.
Yeah.
And we actually cut costs by not developing some rolls because we knew like, oh, those are all bales, and it was weird. It was like it's just different now because everything's video and everything's high res and 4K and whatever.
Right.
But this was in a time when that was the only way you could get footage of that quality was on film.
Right. Like even all the bowl stuff and like you skating the ramp in the huge arena and like, dude.
Yeah, we rented a bull ring for $200 a day.
Wow.
For a week. We rented for 10 days. It took 6 days to build the ramp, and then I skated it for 4 days.
And then all the just like Steve Barra breaking into your house and like, or was that the end, right?
That was his deal. We just let everyone kind of do their own thing.
Or no, he's escaping your house. Isn't that?
It was his house.
Okay.
It was someone's house.
Anyway,
I don't know.
I just remember watching that, thinking all of the stuff. I was so young, like 3 years old, 4 years old, thinking that those scenes are actually real. Thinking wow, just being like mind boggled by like.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really consider that it was maybe not appropriate for all ages. I was just trying to let the team do what they wanted. And there were definitely some questionable visuals in it.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
But
it's great.
we did it and we moved on. We evolved.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's see what else. I collect movie props. I used to collect a lot more. I've got some stuff from Nightmare Before Christmas that were actually used in the movie, but this is the favorite thing that I've collected over the years. This is from Wild at Heart. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that movie. Nicolas Cage, Laura Dern.
And you.
I'm I'm not in the movie. I just love it, and
Oh.
this is a road sign from a fictitious town in the movie. And if you know the movie, you'll know what that's all about.
Crazy. Yeah, dude. I just assumed you were in it because I don't know the movie.
No. It's David Lynch. It's super weird. It's I don't know. It's just like it's one of the few movies that I really want a prop from, and that one came online, and so I bid on it.
Crazy. Your most cherished item
in here?
No, you said that's your most cherished
for
item,
movie
right?
props, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, for sure.
And it came through absolutely nothing to do with skateboarding.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Well, the income did.
Right.
The income to buy it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know. This is probably one of my favorite things I got. This is a Devo hat signed, Energy Dome, signed by every member of Devo at the time. Two of them actually passed away since, but this was when Devo played Boom Boom Huck Jam in 2003 at San Diego Sports Arena. It was like we did the Boom Boom Huck Jam, and we had live bands playing along the way. We would usually have them play 2 to 4 shows, and Devo played 2 shows, and those were my dream come true. Like that was the first time I ever did a 900 at the tour.
I was there.
You were at the San Diego one or Anaheim?
He was Anaheim, but I was there because I remember Devo played. I remember I was there.
And you saw Matt Hoffman get knocked out.
Yep, because that was you had the loop at that show, right?
Not this tour.
Okay, then I don't know what I'm thinking of, but I
Maybe
remember.
you saw it at Staples?
I don't know, but I know I was really young, and I was there when Devo played, so.
Then you had, I don't, maybe you saw 2 different ones. I don't remember us having the loop that year, but,
I was like 5, so.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, those 2 shows, like, were basically my big sort of, selfish celebration moments, because like Devo's one of my favorite bands ever, and the fact that they're playing on the deck of my vert ramp, it was just like I didn't even care if we had a crowd. I was just happy that was happening at all. Yeah.
What's the name of the song that you have that video part 2 in My Way, the Arnett video?
Gates of Steel.
Gates of Steel.
Yeah.
That song and that video part is my favorite of all time.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you. Like those 2 things, and then I don't know, I think that video came out in like 97 or something, but that would mean that the Boom Boom Huck Jam was what, in like 2000, 2001?
2002, 2003, 2004, 2005 were the arena tours.
Right, because I remember that video part and the song, and then my brother and I, my mom got us tickets, she like knew, because huge fans, whatever, but the band was playing, they played that song while you were sessioning the ramp. Yeah. And I just remember that moment, and it was like, I don't know, it was just so mind-boggling for such a young kid.
What's funny about that is you're probably one of the very few that knew that, and that was exactly, that was my favorite Devo song. I requested that song for that video. Yeah. And then when they started playing that song on my ramp, that's when I was like, holy shit, I got to do 900 now. Now is the time. If it's ever going to happen in my show, it's going to happen now. So that's really cool that you recognize that, because I mean, for me, that was just like a totally personal moment, and I really didn't think anyone else could see all those other elements about it.
Well, somebody out there named Trevor did, because
pretty cool.
I can see that, and I appreciate the whole.
I recently had to find that video, and it was really hard to find.
Dude, I have it.
You have it on VHS?
Actually, it's at Travis Pastrana's house.
You have it on VHS?
I have it on VHS, and I converted it to a DVD.
Oh, wow, that's impressive.
I gave it to, or actually, that might be.
I did manage to get.
Okay, you have it.
I basically bribed someone to digitize it. Okay. I had a copy of it.
Sweet, you have it. Because I was gonna say I can get it to you, but still,
awesome.
Still favorite video of all time right there.
Thank you.
Your ending part, My Way. Very special.
Cool. Well,
sweet, man. Can you show us around?
Yeah, sure. Well, that was my office right there.
Yeah.
It's messy, I realize. This is Seth. Seth knows what I'm doing before I do, and basically runs everything behind the scenes. He's been gone for the last week, and this place almost fell apart. It's true.
Stop.
It's true. Jared Prindle.
I know nothing before.
He runs 900 Films, Riot Channel.
What's up, man?
The guy behind the guy.
I'm Trevor. This is Will.
Hello, Will. Hello, Trevor.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Will's the guy right behind the TV.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not wearing any clothes. It's crazy.
But Jared's OG. He did the one-on-one videos. Yeah. So he's been here. He's been in the skate scene as long as any of us.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just old, so that's the only reason. That's the only reason I've been in it longer.
Yeah.
Because I'm older.
You know, I wrote back, or I like responded to your thing the other day when everyone was doing the old filters, and you're like, "This is just me." I'm old. And I was like, such bullshit, but
oh yeah,
it's funny.
No,
it was funny. Your
you
joke was funny, not that you look old.
You don't need a filter. I don't think anyone's here, but this is basically this modest office is Birdhouse, because Birdhouse is really just me, my production manager Derek, who's gone on vacation, and our team manager Adam. That's all Birdhouse. It's all done through licensing, so it's not a big operation, but we're nimble, and I like it because like it's just us three having fun and not answering to some giant company about why we do things, or you know, if this is questionable or not, because I just want to do what the team wants to do. But yeah, it's not some huge factory. I don't know what's going on there, but that's the foundation. That's where we do public skate parks for low-income areas. That is probably the biggest staff here in my building, and we've been going since 2001.
Wow. We were just talking about the Will's from Orcas Island. And was explaining.
Yeah. Okay, awesome.
That's when he met you or saw you or something like that.
Yeah, it turned 10 about the year when that park opened.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's a perfect example of what we do. We try to empower the communities that are trying to get a park going. We give them resources and funding, and to date we've helped to fund over 900 parks now.
Wow. Tell me about the Lone Pine Park in California. Is that your doing?
I've actually only seen it because when I went by there it was snowing every time on the way to Mammoth.
Right.
And we helped to fund that, and it's right behind McDonald's there.
Yeah. Awesome. I always stop there and skate it. It's great.
It's funny because there are very few. I mean, you know, we've done over 900, so it's not like I know every single park inside out. But there are a few key ones that I recognize because of either the city or because of the story behind it. And Lone Pine was definitely one where I was like, oh, that's on our way to Mammoth. Let me check that out.
Awesome.
Every time I drive by, it's got snow in it.
Yeah, really? Damn, that's, I don't know.
I mean, I only go up there when it's dumping.
Yeah,
so
it's true. Yeah, damn, that's really insane though. I didn't realize 900. That's quite a special impact.
Yeah, we give away, I think at this point, over $8 million. I don't know. Someone in there can answer those questions.
Yeah.
That door was open. I let them answer it for you. Oh, and then those are like all of our current Birdhouse boards.
Everyone's pro models?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do a series that have a running theme, but then sometimes everyone just goes rogue because they want to have their own.
Yeah.
And then we did a special edition for Eric Andre because he was in the Birdhouse video, and he and I were talking about it, and he came up with this idea, and
it's awesome.
That was it. Honorary team member.
Yeah, totally. Rad. What else is going on over here? Mostly accounting, administration. I don't know how to make that sexy for you, but it's necessary. A lot of skateboards.
Yeah, these are, most of these are my boards through the years. There have been a few key ones that were really hard to get because I didn't keep one when we ran them, and then I ended up having to buy them on eBay.
It's funny how that works. Like I hear that everyone runs into that issue with like magazine covers that they want to keep. They're like, keep one because they'll go away and then no one can find them anymore. But
I had one that we just couldn't find one, and a guy in Australia had it, and he had been trying to sell on eBay, and he got some bid for, I don't know, $5,000 or $6,000 and fell through. And I learned about it later and contacted him, and I was like, "You still interested in that? Because I'd like to buy it."
Yeah.
So I bought it as a discount and sent him one of my boards.
Nice. Is that one on here?
I don't think we have that one up actually. It's it was a short run because it was a sort of a tribute to the Damned Phantasmagoria album cover.
Yep.
And it was too close, so we had to We had a cease and desist on it.
Got it.
So there weren't that many made.
Got it.
And then this is the Boom Boom Hawk Jam ramp.
The viewing corridor.
Yeah. So this is the ramp we built for the tour, 2002, at a cost of $600,000.
Wow.
And basically this ramp can go up in 2 hours and down in 1 hour.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Because I was asking you about it. I was like, because I wanted to get it out to the desert for that event.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, yeah, can be there in like 2 days.
Yeah.
This is the price, done. I was like,
Yeah, I mean,
didn't
it's
quite work
mostly,
out, but-
it's just the cost is labor.
Yeah.
Because we don't need forklifts or anything. We just need a bunch of people to
Right.
put each section up and put it upright.
Yeah, it's crazy. You can just see all the sections are like just. So is each 8x4 section completely steel reinforced from the back, or?
Yeah, it was all machine made by a company in Pennsylvania that does stages. So they do big concert stages,
Right.
Metallica, AC/DC, Lady Gaga and stuff. And so all their stuff is made to go up real fast and then get in the trucks and hit the road, which is what we did with this ramp for 5 years in a row.
Wow. Well, let's go check it out.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Thanks again for doing this.
Oh, sure.
Probably done it a few thousand times by now. A few 100,000.
Yeah, usually it's sort of sit down, so I'm happy to show you around, but
Yeah.
I think people come here expecting, like rows of skateboards and all, and this is kind of not the business model
Yeah.
of our companies.
Yeah, I wasn't sure like how you run things. Like if there'd be a bunch of people sessioning or like.
People will probably start showing up in the next hour or two.
Yeah.
I usually skate early because I got to get kids from school and do stuff later in the day. So we have what we call the old man sessions, and it's usually me, Kevin Staub, Lincoln, Andy McDonald, Bucky Lassick, and then that's usually before like 1 or 2 o'clock. And then around 3 o'clock, the X Games final shows up, and then that's just like hectic skate session. All the new guys,
Speaking of X Games finals, or actually, I'll ask you about that after. I just want to like run. Get a little.
Watch out! What's that? Watch out for the gap. You say he's hurt? I heard he's hurt. Is that right?
Broken back.
Good full name. I don't know anyone who like just coming off a broken back who would throw a layback like that.
It's been a couple months now. It's kind of,
What's that?
it's my yoga for the day.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah, no, I got pretty lucky with the whole injury thing, so we're good.
Did you have to have surgery?
Yeah. No.
Wow.
Like turned down 5 different spine surgeons telling me like surgery's a must, and I kind of like just prolonged it. Yeah, we're good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you look good.
What's going on in the back here?
So
I was gonna go for the gap, and I was like, yeah, probably chill on that.
yeah, I think you're capable, but I don't know about those wheels are not going to do any favors.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, this is more just sort of when people come by, street dudes and my kids, and give them something to skate other than just a giant vert ramp.
Yeah.
And this has changed a few times. We actually this was a big thing for Ride Channel when we were doing Ride Channel and going strong. And so we would have sort of clinics and how-tos and how to build ramps and stuff like that. And then this just remained.
Yeah.
And this is usually what I'm doing on the weekends with my kids, skating here. In fact, my daughter learned to drop in right there. And
Yeah, I saw that.
Whole thing, yeah, that whole thing went viral, which is super weird. because it was just us here one night, and she wanted to do that, and then she wanted to go to Panera, and I was like, can't go to Panera unless you drop in. And I was probably gonna take her anyway, but
Yeah.
but that was her motivation.
Yeah.
And then she did it. And she was
A Panera bread bowl.
Chicken noodle soup. That's all it took. But then I got her a full coffee cake, not just a slice of coffee cake, a full coffee cake.
The whole thing.
Yeah. So that was her reward, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. How old was she at the time?
She was probably 9 or 10.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, all my kids, they all skate, and they're all pretty, active, and they like to skate a lot, and she skates the least. So it was even bigger deal in terms of, watching her progress, that she would do that, because she really she dabbles in skating, and then she's off and doesn't do it for weeks. Mm-hmm. So
Crazy.
It was pretty fun.
Is the only entrance to the top of the ramp, I guess you could say, is the ladder?
No, there's stairs over here.
Okay. I was gonna say we should go check it out from the top. You're like, yeah, come on, nerds. That's what I do every day for thousands of hours.
I'll show you the thing that scares people the most.
Are you want me to hold this or?
Yeah, it'd be just like.
Gotcha.
So the thing that scares people the most when they come up here, and especially when they're shooting video, is the plank. Walking the plank.
All right, Will, you're gonna walk the plank. Only if you want to.
And then some people like to sit there and shoot.
You good? Yeah, I guess he's good. Skate it. What? Oh, you're all in.
What's up?
I don't know. I'm being confused here.
You still contemplating the gap?
No, I thought he had the look in his eye like you were gonna ollie the gap or something. I was like, wait.
Oh no, I'm just timing the trucks. I've got a brand new set up here, so
Nice. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to do my trucks as well. You good?
Do that.
brand new wheels get slippery.
You've done that a couple times.
This is my happy place.
I love how you I saw a video of you the other day, just skating through your story, skating through the airport.
Oh,
You're just cruising. But if an ordinary person that knew nothing about skateboarding saw you walking down the street, nothing. You don't have fucked up jeans and you know what I mean? But then you come in here and shred harder than anyone.
People always ask me how I get away with that, and it's really just more that I do it quietly. You know what I mean? I don't drop my board down, make a noise. And I just kind of set it down and just go around people, and I'm not making any noise. And
Right.
so that's how I get away with it. And I usually don't do it for very long. But every once in a while, I'm rushing to a gate, and I just go for it. Yeah.
Full skate. Scared about the speed wobble. I know, but I'm afraid of wheel bite right when I don't want it.
If you really want to do it, the line is basically a semi-wide carve on that wall, so that you're basically ending it like in that fourth sheet. Like
Oh, I see. So you're kind of like sweeping S.
so that your trajectory is you're already going to go across it no matter what. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so
You gonna do
that's
it?
my only secret. I'll do it if you want.
I don't know. I guess if I'm gonna do the gap, I may as well film it. Break the $1,000 camera. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that.
You started too far back.
Oh, yeah. I honestly just didn't want to risk like actually committing and then blowing it. Cause
Yeah. Well, I always say the priority is saving cameras and kids.
where did the skateboard go? Maybe I'll
I've wrecked my shoulder many times saving the camera. Try to turn on these 4 sheets right here, like that's sort of your arc.
Yeah.
And so that as you come off your kick turn, you're on this seam, and that just sets you up right across.
Okay.
I mean, you already jumped it, so you got the hard part over with.
Okay. There we go. Oh! Hey, I did it this time. That was full like dead sailor air, like midway. I gotta go a little higher than that.
You can still carve a little more just because you're not doing an air, so you don't. Like you could come across this wall a little more.
Okay. You're saying like
I'm just saying, if you're doing an air, that's where you want to be. But since you're not doing an air, you can come over a little bit further,
yep.
and it'll be more of a better arc over the gap.
Got it. Less.
Usually, I'm trying to talk kids into like even trying it. Like that's what my line, and he doesn't even care. He's just doing it.
I don't know. You're just like you're setting me up for Woo!
Yeah.
Alright, here we go. That's my debut here.
That's impressive. Yeah, I'm telling you, like I people skate here Mike McGill just did that for the first time last week. He skated this ramp for the last 15 years.
Well,
And he comes with a broken back with his soft wheels.
I'll tell you, he's a lot smarter than I am.
And he came off the rolling. That's how he had to get speed for it. He went off the roll and
Yeah, but
set up and did it.
Let's not mention you and some elite others are like 15 feet above the coping. I'm
Well, that makes it
15 feet
easier.
under the
because-
coping.
Right. I mean, literally going higher makes it easier because you're going to clear it no matter what. You know, when
Yeah.
you go low is when you're like at risk of not actually getting across it. But that was cool. One time we removed, how many more? We removed 5 more sheets.
Oh wow.
And I did it and broke my board when I landed.
Wait, was that in your video part like a couple years ago?
It was, yeah. But but we removed one more.
Right.
And when I jumped it, my tail broke, and I couldn't get the speed anyway, so we just scrapped it.
Talk to me about the sideways loop. How is that constructed here?
So basically, we put it here where the channel is, and then it went. My whole thing was I wanted it to sort of morph into the ramp at the end. And to be honest, after doing it, that was my big mistake.
Right.
Because it made the ribbon get tighter at the end.
But what do you mean mistake? You did it.
I know, but if I had just made it like one continuous transition, it would have been way easier because there's not that like sucking it up at the end and crashing in. But I just thought somehow that's going to be safer, that I would be able to fall into this.
Right, gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in reality, I just kept slamming into the ramp. And so if I were to ever do it again, which I'm not, I would just make it a literally a sideways loop.
And just put it there.
But it was hard to get speed too, because it started another 4 feet above the ramp. You know what I mean? Like that was actually the beginning, so you had to get plenty of speed on a setup to get into it.
If you don't know what we're talking about, I think it's on the Ride channel, yeah? Is a sideways loop.
Yeah, I think it's called the downward spiral.
Downward spiral. It's like probably the most absurd, crazy thing that I didn't realize something like that was even possible. But leave it up to the man himself.
Yeah, it was hard. I thought it was like everything in theory was going to be the way a loop works, and it was in some ways, but in some ways not at all.
Since we're on topic of crazy things, run me through I guess I have a lot of questions for you if you don't mind, but
isn't that what we're doing here?
Yeah. The question that I have is talk to me how transformation like the 900 was for you, and when you actually did that from, I feel like that was kind of when skateboarding made a staple, and you were kind of the exclamation point on that, and from there, seeing skateboarding as a skateboard fan, that was kind of what made the masses of the world see skateboarding. So how do you, in your own eyes, being the artist himself, how did you see that as transforming in the world, I guess?
I think it was weird for me because I had been trying 900s for almost 10 years prior to that night that I made it. And to compare, I did a 720, my first 720 in 1985 on a ramp in Sweden with 3 people watching.
Wow.
And for me, it was a milestone because I wanted to learn how to spin more. And for skateboarding, it was like, oh, that's cool. You know what I mean? There's something new.
Yeah.
And so when it came to pass at the X Games and the 900 thing, I mean, yes, it was the next sort of barrier to cross for spinning.
Yep.
But I think it was more that people saw, I mean, just this is only because I have so much distance from it now. I think it was more that people saw this passion and determination of wanting to do something new and putting your body at risk just to do it, and for what? The contest was over. I wasn't necessarily going to win. Yeah. You know what I mean? I didn't think it was going to be even on air.
The whole crowd stayed and
and so I think it was just more of that sort of that approach to doing what you love is what I hope is what people took away from it, and what maybe inspired people to start skating. I don't think it was all about just, you know what I mean? People do new gymnastics tricks. That doesn't make people jump in gymnastics on a big level.
Totally.
Or a huge population suddenly start doing gymnastics because of it.
Yeah.
It has to be something other than that. And I think it was just more that people saw. And what I was doing, it wasn't just about me. That represents skateboarding in general. People who skate, they know what it takes. You try something for hundreds of times, thousands of times before you make it. And when you finally make it, it means everything to you. It may not mean anything to anyone else.
It's the gate is opened.
Yeah, it's like your first kickflip.
Yeah.
Other people who've done kickflips, they don't care.
Yeah.
But it means everything to you because you made it happen.
So what you're saying is it's like the relativity of making the stakes way higher for your own personal self, and then having the whole world watch you achieve that. Is kind of
I guess that was the weird aspect to it for me, because I just never thought that kind of thing would resonate, because skateboarding was always considered so obscure and not mainstream and not even cool.
Yeah.
When I was skating in high school, it was the furthest thing from cool you could do.
Right.
And then suddenly it's front and center at this big event, and this new trick happens, and people are like, that's the coolest thing ever.
My next kind of thing I was gonna say is that you skating your entire life, and then that moment is what puts it on the map for other people, but they haven't seen your entire life has been dedicated to skateboarding, no one sees behind the scenes like that. Like,
Right.
But you do. Other people that appreciate skateboarding, like myself, do. But then the whole world sees it as this, like, you know, big thing. But from the back end, it's blood, sweat, and tears from
Yeah, and also
beginning.
in a lot of ways, and I don't want to downplay it, but in other ways, it was just another trick.
Yeah.
I mean, many tricks have happened since
Right.
then, spinning tricks, but also variations and things that I think are infinitely harder
Yeah.
have happened, but they didn't happen on in that forum.
Right.
And they didn't get that much attention. And so it was weird for me for all that to be focused in on that, but at the same time, like, I was hugely proud of it, and yeah, it followed me around for years. Every time I'd show up at a demo, even like a street plaza, people were like, 900!
Yeah, of course. Oh, wow. And then, well, even Mitchie just did a 1260.
1260,
But here's the thing that I'm so, when you say the crowd's watching you in determination to do this trick. It doesn't really matter what the trick is, but they're watching that. I'll never forget, like, the times just before you landed it, like, you're so fierce and so just intense that, like, you're shaking. You're literally on the flat bottom, like shaking in anger and frustration. And, like, that is what, for me, would, like, draw me to be like, wow, you know, like, holy crap, like, he wants this so bad. But what I was gonna ask you is, like, Mitchie just did a 1260 on the mega ramp at X Games, but all of that wasn't there, right? Like, there was no like, because no one saw the determination maybe behind that. It didn't get the same amount of hype that maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's just a different setting too, and it's not like you get 12 tries in a contest on the mega ramp either. So it's gonna happen or it's not.
Right.
I mean, it's and you could tell that on his first few attempts, it was probably gonna happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that through the years now, people have gotten a little bit jaded to all of it.
Yeah, it's like
And,
all just, oh,
yeah,
cool.
and there's a mindset that's just like, and there's also people, and I do not agree with this at all, that think somehow the mega ramp, it's a 28-foot quarter pipe, that makes it easier. There's no way that makes it easier. That makes it infinitely harder and scarier. Yeah, because you're 20 feet in the air. Like,
I've been knocked out clean on it. I get
those
it.
consequences are tragic. If you don't pull off the wall enough, you bounce off the coping from 20 feet above the ramp.
And then the next 20, 30 feet down.
There's nothing about that makes it easy.
Yeah.
Sure, it gives you more time to spin, but I don't agree with that whole notion. I think it's, if anything, that's the only way we're going to progress the spinning moves.
Right.
And I mean, 1260. Like, I don't.
Well, I'm not, and I don't bring that up to, like, take away from the iconic 900.
Like,
but I'm
you're
saying
right,
that
it was a different setting, but as far as I'm concerned, just as hard, way harder. Like, all of those things combined make this formula that is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. Tell me about what is something that stands out to you, maybe one or two things that stand out to you that your skateboard career has led to, that is the most just obscure, ridiculous thing that you've been able to go and do?
The Simpsons, for sure. I mean, I was a fan of The Simpsons since it started, when it was on the Tracy Ullman show. That's how old I am. And the idea that they would create an episode around me was just outlandish. So
amazing. The
fact that I got to do that, people still quote it to me this day. And it's such a marker of pop culture too. So I was hugely proud of that. I got to skate at the White House during the Obama administration. Well, I was invited to the White House, and I chose to skate. And think of that what you will. Some people were offended. Some people were stoked. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
And
I think it's awesome.
I mean, those two things are kind of these things that I would never imagine I'd ever get to do. I mean, there's all kinds of other things that I've been able to participate in that I never thought, like cancer charity or fundraisers or research, stuff like that. The fact that you can use your success for a greater good. The foundation is definitely my proudest work. The fact that I've been able to provide these facilities to kids in underprivileged areas who just want to skate. Like, it's not that they're trying to be pro, they just want to skate and they're told not to, and we want to give them a place to go. They feel like they're looked after. And traveling the world, like I didn't grow up with some wanderlust.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to, you know what I mean? Like get out of my hometown. I live in San Diego, like it's awesome.
Yeah.
But the idea that something I was kind of thrust into, touring the world and sort of embracing diversity and cultures and foods and like all that stuff, I grew into, and now I love it, and I love sharing it with my family.
Yep. So cool.
And I never imagined being able to do any of this.
Yeah.
Like in any, you know, the only occupation I imagine being able to do all the stuff that I'm doing now would be like rock star or movie star.
Right.
That's it. And I knew that I wasn't cut out for either of those things. So the idea that I could just skate and do this obscure sport at a time when it was considered a joke or a kid's thing is all just ridiculous. And you know, people think, like, they ask me, was this your dream? Like, there was no dream.
Right.
No one was living a dream of skating.
Yeah. It then became the dream.
We just created the dream. Yeah. And to this day, like I'm very thankful. And it's all just gravy. It's like ridiculous.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
But it hasn't come on a silver platter. Like, and for people like myself that have been kind of involved in action sports, understand and can relate to like the hell and pain and suffering and gnarliness of trying things that you've been through, to really appreciate, you know, where you stand in this world and that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
there's plenty of people who, they don't see the hard work you put into it, and they're just like, oh, he's, you know, got lucky, right place, right time. Like, he landed 900 and his life was easy, and it's just like, okay, you believe what you want, but that was just,
but you know.
Yeah, there were decades of pain and effort that went into all that stuff, and even just that one trick, but all the trick, you know, like having this ramp, doing this tour. Yeah. We skated this tour for whatever it was. Well, it ended up being almost 10 years, but we're talking about like giving it your all every night, almost every night of the week for 30 shows straight.
It's insane.
And if you think that comes easily, like just playing a song, you know,
right,
then you haven't tried skating.
Or you haven't tried anything.
Yeah.
Where did a lot of people, I feel like I was saying earlier about the 900, kind of put a staple on skateboarding and making things really known. But you know, you've been professionally skateboarding and competing at skateboarding since what? How young?
Well, I started competing when I was 11.
Yeah.
Because that was the only way you could recognize in skating.
Right.
Especially in the late 70s, early 80s, no one was making video parts. No, there were no videos.
Right.
No one was making video parts. The only way you're getting coverage in a magazine is by winning contests. Yep. So I knew that if I was going to have any type of success or recognition in skateboarding, I had to compete. And then I just had to learn how to skate all different terrain, figure out strategies. Like, it's weird because at the core, skating is just this individual expression.
Yep.
But when you put it into competition, it's subjective. You've got to kind of do what, you know, the judges want to see. You've got to learn new tricks every event, because if you do the same, if you just play the hits, they mark you down. Yeah. The same score you got last event is not going to be the same score you get for the same run this next one.
Totally.
They want to see
they're
improvement.
Watching you. Yeah. So where would you say, has it been ingrained in you, like the competitive drive ever since you were young?
It was. I mean, really, I competed for 20 years of my life, so it was definitely a big part of my life, and it was a big directive for what I was doing.
Yeah.
But after that year, like those years, 99, 2000, I stopped competing altogether, and it really unlocked a new potential for me. To let that go and to not have that pressure all the time made my skating way better, because I was always learning tricks, knowing that I got to have that one in my pocket and be able to do it all the time.
Right.
So it's a little bit more of a conservative approach to how you skate, because you're doing stuff that you know you're going to be able to make a lot and take some risks. But when you sort of release yourself from that, you can try anything. And you know, when we did this tour, like, we were trying new tricks on the tour, and the crowd was with us, and we were trying it over and over. I mean, every night almost was like a mini best trick event.
Yeah.
And I loved it, and it was something that was like, oh, we don't have to compete to make this all validated and to make it something that people will recognize. And we had the crowd with us every night. And you know, I don't want to say that this tour was the end all, but it definitely taught me that I don't just have to compete to make a living.
Yeah, it's so special. And like I feel like, and you feel like you did pave the way for not only yourself but others to see, like, you know, this skateboarding thing is becoming more of a way of life than strictly competition. Because back then, like you said, there was no sponsors or no one, you know, it was like the old school like snake runs and bull events and that kind of thing. That was really it, right?
Oh, and I mean, I remember I was under so much pressure, especially in the 80s, to win, because I was on this winning streak, that it became more like, if I didn't win the event, people were like, oh, he sucks now. Yeah. Even if I skated my best and I got second. And that weighed on me so heavily that at one point I had a conversation with Stacy Peralta, who was running the company, and I said, Stacy, I don't think I can compete anymore. And I remember him saying these exact words, like, how are you going to make a living? And I thought, I don't know. I'll skate and learn tricks and I'll get photos. And he's like, no one's going to see it. Wow. If you're not competing. And he was right, because there was everything back then, but it's not anymore. Yeah. I see it maybe more than most people might. I hope everyone sees it this way, but like, you know, if it means anything to you, I see and understand what you've paid for so many, and I just have to show my appreciation for that. Oh, well, thank you.
It's insane, and it's you know, effort that most can't comprehend. So.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I do have a funny story about, I saw the first Nitro Circus in Vegas. Yep. And every year we do this tour, I would try to step it up. Like, one year I had, you know, sort of a mini mega jump, and then the next year I had the jump going all the way over it, and I had to build this 50-foot roll-in that we hung from the ceiling, and then it was like, all right, what's next year? All right, we're gonna add the loop, and then I just kept adding these like ridiculous things to the set, and at some point we sort of tapped out. Right. And then I went to the Nitro Circus, sold out arena, and you guys have a roll-in and a jump. And I was like, is that all it took?
Yeah, but you guys were doing, you know, like.
No. It was a different thing. It was just there was a moment where I was like, you mean all I had to do was make one jump and then an airbag, and we could have toured for another 2 years?
No, because I feel like anyone will show up to watch a bunch of idiots kill themselves.
That's true. I got it. You know what though? You're right. None of my crew would have taken a Barbie car down that thing. So. Yeah. So kudos to you guys.
No, I didn't do the Barbie car. The only one I've done was the couch.
I saw the couch and the boogie board. Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, it was. My kids still talk about it, so it resonated. It worked. Yeah. But it was funny. I did have this funny moment right then, and also that was the night that Travis proposed.
Yep, to Lindsay.
Lindsay, and my kids were pretty young at the time, and so when we left the thing, I said, "What'd you guys think?" And they go, "That was cool, but the marriage thing was kind of weird." and then my other kid goes, "Yeah, do they do that every night?"
Wow. Yeah, because you can't comprehend it at that age.
Yeah, just like, that's what they remember. They remember the Barbie car and the wedding.
What's up with that love part? That's so funny. What about your? Tell me what went into the video part that you just did. Like mostly street, you know.
Oh, at the barracks.
Yeah, like talk to me about that. How can you see that? Just the barracks, Tony Hawk new skate park. Yeah.
Yeah. So. I guess that I hate using the word organically, but that came kind of organically because I was there doing interviews for a mobile game that we had released because they kind of wanted a skate park setting. And while I was there in between interviews, I jumped their stairs and did a couple little tricks and put that on my Instagram because that's what I was doing, and it just blew up. And I was like, that's, you know what I mean? Like I kill myself for new tricks on this thing. Yeah. But jumping 10 stairs, that's what resonates. And I get it because that's what everyone's doing. Yeah. And so I worked with the barracks a little bit. We did the do a kickflip thing where I was yelling at kids to do a kickflip. And they said, we should do something else. And I go, well, what about when people do video parts there? They said, oh, it's a battle commander. I was like, what about that? And they go, well, you got to get at least 3 minutes of footage. And I said, well, let's do this. Figure that out, yeah. And I just kind of dug deep because I used to skate street a lot, especially in the early days of Birdhouse. So I just sort of tried to remember the stuff that I had down then and would go up there and do like 4 or 5 tricks at a time. And It was a lot of work, but it was really fun. It was kind of cathartic because at my age, like I'm not trying to keep those tricks going.
Yeah.
So a lot of those things were like, all right, I can put that one to rest now. Especially 10-stair handrails. That's done. Those days are over.
And all the bails that went in between there that you don't talk about or see in that short 3 minutes.
Well, it's funny. It's not really my age that's a problem with the bails. It's my style because I skate vert.
Yeah.
I knee slide out of things.
Right.
So running out of tricks is not my deal.
Yeah, you just crumble, kind of like me. I'm not.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not going to keep running. I just kind of collapse and take it. So I would come home very sore from those days. But it was fun. It was cool because I included my kids in it too. And
Sweet. Tell me just a couple more questions I have. Talk to me about the whole video game. For me, growing up on your video games, I'd go to school, come home, like skate in the driveway, and then play your video game and like get yelled at by my mom for not doing my homework, all like literally every day on repeat. And I think that was most kids around the world. Everyone that I talked to, certainly my age. Talk to me about the significance that's played in your life, and did you think that a video game like that would really blow up and have as many sequels as it did and have the success that it did?
No, not a chance. It all came about because I had been approached by a PC programmer about doing a game. This is probably 1997-ish, maybe 96 even. And he said, hey, I've been working on this game, and he had kind of a little engine of this guy going around bowls. So it was super basic. You had to use like the keyboard to control it. And he wanted me to go pitch it with him to different manufacturers, either software manufacturers or console manufacturers. And we would go to these meetings and people would just be like, why? No one skates. Why would anyone want to play a skating game? And it was just super, it was very discouraging, and he gave up. But because I was going to those meetings, my name was sort of going around all those manufacturers. And then about a year later, Activision called me and said, hey, we heard you wanted to work on a video game.
Was that during like 99, the 900?
No, that was in early 98.
Okay. So it was happening pre, and then that maybe...
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, a video game, a video game was happening in a month. So,
right.
So I went up and met with them, saw what they were working on, and really liked what I saw. I mean, the first version of the game was taken from the game that they made called Apocalypse with Bruce Willis.
Okay.
So the first time I ever played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was with Bruce Willis with a gun on his back. It's true. Doing like ollies in the desert.
Wow.
But there was something there. Like I felt the controls felt intuitive. Like everything it just felt right. And so I signed up right away. And then we worked on it for basically a year from that point on. And then by the time we got to what they call beta, which is the version they submit to the actual consoles, which is the first one was PlayStation.
Right.
So we were just about to submit to Sony, and I was at the X Games, and the whole thing happened with 900. And I remember emailing them the next day. I said, hey, you guys, I did this thing last night, and I think we should include it in the game as a trick. And
just being humble Tony Hawk, like, hey guys.
Well, and the president emailed me back right away, and he's like, we're already on it. You fucking rule. This is awesome.
Wow.
And so they had to animate a 900 and put it in there like in a week before submission to, and there's all these conspiracy theories that somehow this is all a master plan, and I've been working towards that. It was all just total, perfect storm of timing. And if it had been 2 weeks later, the trick wouldn't have been in the game. Right. I mean, the game would have come out, but people would have been like, why isn't it in there?
Yeah, totally.
But beyond that, like, I just wanted to make a game that I thought skaters would want to play. That was the goal. I thought that if I can get a skater to buy a PlayStation to play this game, that's successful to me. And I knew skating was already, it was underground. It wasn't Madden. It wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't a mainstream sport. So I didn't think it would resonate among gamers. But then after the first game came out, actually right before the first game came out, Activision offered me a buyout of future royalties.
Wow.
And I knew then like something was up.
Yeah.
And then when the game came out, just as it was coming out.
You denied it, or did you take it, or?
Oh no, I did not. Are you kidding me? Like, no.
Just making sure.
No, they offered me $500,000 against like.
And you're like, yeah, no way.
Well, no, at the time, that was incredible.
Yeah.
I'd never even heard people say $500,000 before.
Right.
You know what I mean? To me, it was like saying $1 billion gazillion.
For sure.
But at the time, things were doing pretty well. I had just bought a new house.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I can just let this ride and see what happens. Which is
the
best,
greatest idea of all time.
Best financial decision I ever made. But as the game was starting to get released in the skate industry, people just started calling it the game, and that's when I knew we had a hit, because I had the approval and the validation of the hardcore skaters and skaters that play games, and it was like, all right, this worked.
Yep.
And then right when the game got released, they started working on a sequel.
Wow.
I mean, I remember the phone call. It was within days. They said, "Hey, we're already working on number 2," and I was like, "What?"
Wow, dude, I remember playing like the underground levels and have the whole soundtrack memorized in my head, because we were waiting, literally, like as a fan kid, waiting, like when's the next thing coming out, like because we would just have that on repeat. All the tricks were already like we had unlocked everything. On Tony Hawk 1.
I think that's what made it so successful, is that, like you said, you could finish the whole thing and keep coming back to it and finding your own new challenges, just like skating. And I really believe that was what kept the longevity and what people kept coming back to it and wanting the next version of it.
Yep.
And August 31st, 20 years.
Wow.
Crazy.
So
people keep asking me, like, what are you going to do August 31st?
Yeah, do you have any plans?
I don't, not of the video game sort.
Right. Yep.
Maybe I'll make an alias and play online.
Right on. What about the future? What do you got planned? You got anything? I mean, you obviously just accomplished more in your. I mean, I don't know, dude. You're always onto something, but like, yeah. Do you have any plans?
I have some projects in the works. I'm kind of just taking it as it comes right now. I don't really have some huge goal. I really enjoy just being able to skate at my leisure and do exhibitions once in a while, and just trying to just spend more time with my kids, because they're all getting older, and I mean, we got 3 in college now, and and you know, I spent a lot of time, especially like when my oldest son Riley was young, I spent so much time on the road that I have a lot of regret in missing just sort of family moments. And so I want to be available to my kids, and I mean, and to him as well. Like, even when your kids are old, they still need you. Yeah. But other than that, I think the big project I have in the works right now is I'm working on a Broadway show with skating with Mark Mothersbaugh. Really? So Mark Mothersbaugh is doing the music, Gates of Steel. Really? Wow. And I'm gonna do the choreography, and then we bought the rights to a Nick Hornby book called Slam. So basically, the whole show is about a teenage skater who his girlfriend gets pregnant. Okay. And his having to come to terms with being responsible. And how skating helps him do that. Crazy. And it's been super fun. We already did a workshop in La Jolla. We have a lot of interest.
When is that coming out?
That's the big question. I don't know. Okay. The script is almost done. There's so many elements to stage shows.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Are you going to be traveling with that, doing tours?
I don't know.
Or is like,
I won't be in it, but I'll be the one behind it. Yeah. Just the way that Mark will be doing the music and someone else will be performing it.
Is there anything that you would, just closing, we'll get out of your way here. Is there anything in closing that, 2 things. What do you want to be remembered as, or what do you want to be remembered by or as? And also, I'll wait for your answer, and then I'll answer. What's your legacy? What's the dream to have your legacy?
I don't know. I think like my ego says I just want to be remembered as an innovative skater, because that was always my goal. Was seeking validation from my peers with what I do, because what I did, the way I skated, especially in the early days, was not considered cool or progressive. It was considered more like a circus act. Right. And so I was always striving to like try to be accepted in that sense, but beyond that, I hope someone that helped to promote skating on a bigger scale. I mean, I always felt like skating provided me something that other sports couldn't, even though it was not really accepted by the general mainstream. It gave me a sense of validation. It gave me a sense of self-confidence. of identity. It gave me an outlook on life that a lot of my peers didn't have at the time.
Yeah.
And so I want to promote that as best I can and provide that same opportunity, not to be pro, but just to get those same elements from the same positive aspects from skating to other kids. And maybe some kids have never even seen a skateboard.
Right.
And I can reach them because of my success in other areas.
Totally. I was just going to say that I'm sure you have realized this, but for me, from my point of view, it becomes so apparent that, you know, skateboarding was this thing that was being, you know, pushed kind of in for so long, and you're like clearly in my mind the spearhead that kind of like exploded into making it a cultural thing where people can have jobs around it, and this whole thing just kind of exploded. Like, you know, it's really cool to hear you talk about all this and kind of see that you know, you are literally the exclamation mark on how this whole thing kind of exploded. It's almost like you're pushing this energy into this thing, and then finally just the egg cracked and boom.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't some great master plan. It's just little by little I was trying to help promote it, and now however I can. I think the stuff that I'm most proud of, especially in those days when things really blew up, was being able to use big marketing dollars to promote skating in general to a new audience.
Right.
You know, like I had an endorsement with Got Milk. I had an endorsement with McDonald's.
Yeah.
And Bagel Bites and all that. and I used all of those. Obviously, I benefit from that. You know, I'm not going to candy coat it, but I was able to use their marketing dollars to reach an audience that maybe would have never seen skateboarding, and to represent skateboarding in those advertisements in a way that others wouldn't.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's almost like your skateboarding's like, what would you say? Like a lead, not a leader, because that's like cliche.
Well, I mean, a lot of people say it's ambassador,
like the guiding force.
Yeah, I mean, people sort of put that on me.
Yeah.
And I was happy. I was happy to accept that responsibility, but it wasn't something I was choosing to do. It wasn't something I was formulating especially in my younger. Like, are you kidding me? I didn't want to represent. I didn't want to be responsible for anything. I just wanted to skate.
Yeah. Final words. What would you give any advice to the kids or people that are aspiring to be something, or even, you know, start skating or whatever? Like, what do you have any words of advice to them that might help them along their path?
I think really, firstly, do what you love doing. Don't choose a path just because you think it's going to be the most financially successful, because in a lot of ways you're probably just being miserable doing it. Just do what you love doing, and in the end, that's your success. And you're going to enjoy your work. And I think that if you do choose something, especially if you choose something like what we do, learn everything about it. I mean, you're a perfect example. Like, you didn't just skate. Like, you're riding, you know, you're doing all these other things, learning different terrain, learning different vehicles, and really pushing limits elsewhere. And it allowed you to have an edge on everyone else. And I think that with skating especially, or something of that nature, if you learn every aspect of it, even things you weren't interested in, you're at least going to have that advantage and be able to make a living at it, because some of your peers, they only focused on the one thing, and the one thing that they did well. And at some point, that wasn't enough.
Well, I mean, at the same point, it's broadened you to exactly where you've stood as well. It's like, you know, focusing on that one thing, arguably, right? Like
focusing on, but at the core is skating. But what I'm saying is, like, when I was growing up, like, I learned how to edit video just because I was interested in it. I learned how to lay ads out, you know what I mean? And even like a little bit of Photoshop and taking videos and doing stuff that wasn't my job description. And
just to keep it fresh, keep it new.
Yeah, and also just because it was interesting. Yeah. And I like think about it. And now, I mean, just if you think about all the options that you have, and especially all the tools available with smartphones. Yeah. Like, all those skills they've come full circle, and now I'm able to do all that stuff because I learned it at an early age. And I mean, that's why, like, I've had such success on social media. Yeah. Because I learned how to do all that stuff when it was on VHS decks. For sure. Making VHS videos of our team. Wow. I mean, that's just one example, and it's just more like, if you learn everything about your craft, that's all I'm saying. Yep. If you love something, learn all the stuff, even if it doesn't interest you, even if it's just boring business stuff.
See the overhaul.
It's going to be, that's how you're going to be successful.
Yeah, that's so inspiring to hear, because when I hear you say, like, you know, myself being into all the different things and all the different sports, I guess you could call it now.
Yeah, but you're a unicorn. Like,
no.
Use that as
I'm
a
just saying
example.
that the only reason I've ever pursued that was the same reason that you were explaining, that learning a new trick. It's like you want to learn that new trick because of the chase to learn that new trick, and then finally when you do it, it feels like the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
And so for me, growing up, like, you know, looking up to guys like you and different people, for me it was always just about like, wow, all those things are really cool. I want to be able to have all those. I want to be able to like learn something in all those fields, and luckily I had friends in the neighborhood that had bikes and dirt bikes and stuff. So it's interesting to hear you say that from the actual unicorn himself.
Yeah, but you had the determination. I had my Trevor moment a few years ago when I learned how to backflip a bike at Woodward into the foam pit.
Maniac.
Because we were with Rooftop, and like, all right, we're all going to learn this, and I was frightened to death. Like, and then the first one I landed kind of upside down and popped my neck worse than any skate accident I've had, and then eventually got around to the wheels on the foam pit, and that was it. Like, that's enough.
You did it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that was where I had that same feeling, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I backflipped a bike, you know? I didn't have to go over to the real thing, the resi, and do all that. It was just more like
it was enough for you.
It was enough, and I think that's sort of the message is do it because you love it. Put your own challenges out there. You don't have to be like Mr. 1260.
Yeah.
But do something that you'll find pleasure in, that you'll find validation and self-confidence in. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Like, I've seen you do stuff that no one else would even think of or want to do, but it's crazy, and it's celebrated.
It's interesting to hear you say that, because that's all. I've never thought about it until you just mentioned like why, and I think, and the reason is like, it just sounds cool in my mind.
There wasn't some collective that was like, all right, the next thing is you're gonna go off a skateboard and land on a bike.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, but it's interesting. It's interesting to hear you say that, because I think a lot of people get wrapped up in like, oh, well, like so and so did a 1260, so I have to do it now, or like, or even, you know, parents or coaches now or whatever is pushing like, so and so did, you know, a triple cork 1260 on their snowboard.
Yeah, well, you just get stuck in that. You get stuck in that rut.
Yeah.
And then everyone is the same.
Yeah.
It's all incredible, and it takes incredible skill and determination. But at the same time, like, create your own path.
For sure.
Do stuff in your own style.
Yeah.
And if people don't like it, who cares?
Yeah.
My style was so like, I was an outcast in an outcast activity when I was a kid.
I remember watching something, I don't remember what it was, but it's stating that like, you know, you were the outcast of you know.
Yeah, and it was hard because I finally found this thing I love with this like cool culture and crew around it, and then all of a sudden they were making fun of me, and I was like, I already went through this in school because I skate.
Right.
And then at some point I just was like, well, I'm just gonna keep doing this because I like it, and not because I think you like me.
Right. You're not.
And I think that's what is liberating.
Yeah.
When you stop worrying about what everyone else thinks or cares, or or if you're in the cool crew. Yeah. And damn it, you've talked me out.
I know. Sorry, I have so many questions.
No, I think it's just more. It's more like once you let go of what do people think of this? Am I doing it right the way? Is it cool? Yeah. And you just do it in your own voice. That's when it becomes cool.
Right.
And that's when it becomes your own and unique. And at some point, maybe that is going to be the new style.
Right.
I mean, I didn't know that's what I was doing would become a style.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of it.
Yeah, man. You can't be afraid to pioneer your own movement, or, you know, take charge on your own path. If you have that vision, then, you know, staying with the pack is not the thing you want to do.
Well, then you just get lost in the shuffle too.
Yeah.
That's the sad part about it, is if you're doing like the cool tricks of the month.
Yep.
And everyone's doing frontside flips and you're doing frontside flips, you just get lost in the pack unless yours is extraordinary.
Yeah. Especially now with social media, everyone's watching like something for 10 seconds, then okay, now that's cool. What else?
Yeah,
you know,
I know. And I know people think that they can be successful there, but you got to just keep stepping it up
Yeah.
and doing new stuff, and I
Yeah,
know
we're-
more than anyone. It's exhausting.
Yeah, we're living in an interesting time where if you want to make it, especially in competitive sports, you gotta fight off, but compete with a lot of people that really want it, and that's
Yeah.
becoming more apparent through social media and competing too. But like, there's a lot of people fighting for that top position, and
It's gotten very well. It's nice because it's gotten democratic, but at the same time, it's gotten diluted.
yeah,
So to rise above takes a lot.
right, yeah, it's very interesting. All right, man, we'll let you go, but I have so many more questions, but I'll have to save them for another time.
Cool.
We're taking Tony Hawk's voice from him here.
Oh,
But,
no, my allergies generally take my voice from me.
sweet. Well,
Oh,
me a
man,
hug.
thank you, buddy. Yeah,
thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for letting us stop by. We'll see you next time.
This guy jumped the channel with a broken back.
Oh yeah, I forgot we're recording till we get in the car. That's okay.
What's that? Oh, yeah,
So
sure.
we're just normally like a formal interview is like, all right, see you later. But no, we're out of here.
Here we go.
Yeah, my skateboard.
Yeah, I got it right here. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you very much for letting us come by.
Yeah, of course.
You know, got nothing but the utmost respect for you, and I really appreciate it, man.
You can also these ramps right here.
Yeah.
This is what we built for the Broadway test.
Okay.
So these were two of the ramps, and then one
Wait,
had a
so-
channel.
So they're kickers.
They had a little top, so they were quarter pipes.
Okay.
And then we had an A-frame and a handrail. It was very small, but
Huh.
it was a test. And
So is it going to be like a Vegas show type thing at some point, hopefully?
I mean, I hope it's more Broadway than Vegas.
Right. I don't know
But-
the difference. I don't know. I honestly like going to Broadway.
Broadway's more like a subtle stage,
Okay.
and it's more about the show, the story.
Got it.
I think
Then, like,
Vegas
the
is
wow.
Vegas is more about the costumes
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
woo and
totally.
the Cirque du Soleil. And,
Gotcha.
I don't know. I want to meet somewhere in between.
Yeah. Sweet. Well,
All right, guys.
we're just parked there.
Yeah,
So,
cool. Thanks for coming down.
Dude, thanks for having us. We will see you next time. Where are you going?
I'm
Walk.
just seeing you out.
Oh, sweet. Thanks. Yeah, I got this Sprinter van. It's like the ultimate toy vehicle. You should check it out.
Oh man, if my kids were still young, I'd probably want to get that.
Here, I'll show you. It's got like we drove down here last night. Will crashed on the floor. I got the bed up top, and it's just like you put the snowboards, bikes,
Oh, that's
skateboards.
awesome.
Just kind of,
Wow.
you know. So
This is the Mammoth vehicle.
yeah, except it's not 4-wheel drive, so it's like the Mammoth summer vehicle.
Oh yeah. You
Yeah.
have to check the conditions.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, you guys.
Yeah.
Well, safe drive. Thanks, man.
five.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, yeah.
See you later.
Thank you very much.
Great to
Thanks.
meet you.
All right.
Okay, Tony. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, see you.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys.
That's pretty cool. Pretty special to check out Tony's place with the man himself. The dude's a living icon. Like, it's pretty just like mind blowing for me as a kid to watch him and his life path just inspire so many. Like, it's pretty special to see the impact that he's had, not only on skateboarding, but as you can see, like his message spoken straight from him is this sheer like determination and, you know, passion to kind of like do your own thing and not really care, you know, what others are gonna think of you or say or whatever. It's just like, you know, he saw his outlet and he pushed it to the best of his ability, and like that's what he's done, man. It's just really, really special, really cool. I feel so honored for him to be able to share that with me. Like, yeah, it's really cool. So I really appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for coming along with this journey, with us. And I don't know what we'll do for the next one, but we'll see you next time.